Well, the media keeps freaking out about how Trump is winning the Republican primaries. Last night was the New Hampshire primary, and it was same thing, just like they freaked out last week in Iowa when he won that one too by a wide margin. Now, last week, we showed you how they were censoring his victory speech. Now, we are not here to praise Trump. We are not here to praise Biden or talk down about either of those. What we're here to do is show you how dishonest the media is and also just how sour grapes they are about all of this. Here was Rachel Maddow last week on MSNBC. This is a bad video copy. I apologize. But here is she saying, we just can't play Trump because he lies. It's an editorial call, but we trust ourselves to make it.
I'm sorry, I just have to do a little bit of business just for a second. At this point in the evening, the projected winner of the Iowa caucuses has just started giving his victory speech. We will keep an eye on that as it happens. We will let you know if there's any news made in that speech, if there's anything noteworthy, something substantive and important. The reason I'm saying this is, of course, there is a reason that we and other news organizations have generally stopped giving an unfiltered live platform to remarks by former President Trump. It is not out of spite. It is not a decision that we relish. It is a decision that we regularly revisit. And honestly, earnestly, it is not an easy decision, but there is a cost to us as a news organization of knowingly broadcasting untrue things. That is a fundamental truth of our business and who we are. And so his remarks tonight will not air here live. We will monitor them and let you know about any news that he makes. Stephanie.
I was just saying, I believe that's why.
All right. So she basically, at first, she even said that person, like he's Voldemort, and you can't say his name. He who must not be named has won. He is giving a speech, the winner. Go ahead.
That coming from the Queen of Russiagate. You know?
I know.
Right.
It's
There's a
such
cost to knowingly broadcasting untrue things, she said, and that's the nature of our business. It is. I'm glad she woke up to that after lying to me for 4 years during the Trump administration about Russiagate. You're right. Or saying things about the COVID vaccine that were unproven, that she just was taking a gamble on. But okay, she thought that it was okay to act as a sieve for Trump's words. And, you know, they must have had some real understandable backlash from this. Like this lady, this went viral on TikTok, Irene Britt USA.
So they will monitor it for us. And they will let us know if there's anything noteworthy. They'll let us know, rather than just playing the speech, being a network that informs people and lets us hear from the winner of that evening. They decided that we're too stupid to hear it and make up our own minds about whether, you know, the information is truthful or not. And this is the democracy they speak of. How is this different from certain countries who filter everything so that people don't get the information that's out there? How is this any different?
All right. Good point. It's not. So this week they decided, okay, we're gonna broadcast Trump's speech, but here's the caveat: we're gonna do it, but we don't like it. Watch.
So this is a decision that we revisit constantly and that we will revisit constantly. But tonight, we're expecting Trump to speak momentarily. We are going to go to those remarks to see how he uses this moment, at least at first. We'll see how it goes. Again, this is a decision that is one that we consider to be an open-ended, live decision. Let's go to Trump headquarters right now in Nashua, New Hampshire.
It's so condescending.
We'll see how it goes.
It's so condescending. Yeah. We here at NBC will see how it goes.
Tell me you didn't get in trouble for making that decision last time without telling us you got in trouble for making that decision last time.
And she's so begrudging. Like, I don't agree with this, but they're making me do it.
She does it so smugly, you know, and condescending. It's like, well, we'll see. We'll really see how this goes. And
right.
I'll be sitting here with my finger on a button, okay, for you, the audience. In case things go haywire, me, Rachel Maddow, I'll be sitting here with my finger on the Trump button.
Well, that's exactly what she did. So they watched, and if they heard even the faintest lie, they jumped in, like right here.
And she was up, and I said, wow, she's
So
doing,
there we go. So this is part of the issue here. So Donald Trump saying that he won New Hampshire not only in previous primaries, but that he won New Hampshire in the general election is not true. Donald Trump did, to his credit, in 2016 win the New Hampshire Republican primary. He did in 2020 win the New Hampshire Republican primary. But both in 2016, when he was competing against Hillary Clinton in the general election, he narrowly lost New Hampshire in the general election. And then in 2020, when he was competing against Joe Biden in the general election, he lost New Hampshire by a good, fair chunk of vote. So the former president has opened his remarks tonight once again by proclaiming falsehoods about previous elections. This is what makes it hard to take his pronouncements live. We'll try again, though. Here we go.
See, she was so happy. Like, I had to cut in. I was waiting. That's a lie. Let me back in. You go live, guys. Go live.
Yeah.
You got to cut in. You got to cut in.
Where's my Mad Al button?
Can you show me the clip? Can you show me the clip of her doing that to all Biden speeches really quick?
Well, that's a point I would like to make. Yeah, and it's true. Trump didn't tell the truth about winning the general election in New Hampshire. It's up to us, the voters, to decide if that's a lie or a gaffe. And if they're going to jump in on that, then you're right. They've got to do that for all politicians. So they're going to be busy. They better be ready with their facts, right? Like, he said, like, here's one, for instance, Joe Biden just last week said that his son died in the war in Iraq.
I said that at an event, and people didn't have chairs, and the press looked at me and said, what the hell's the matter with that guy? Anyway, Edward, thank you. Sergeant First Class, I was telling him my son, Bo, who I lost because of what happened in Iraq. Anyway, my son, Bo, when he made Major in Iraq, I was there. I wasn't with him when he made that, when he got promoted, but I was with him later at an event, anyway.
Rachel Maddow here. I just want to break in on this coverage right now, and what the president is saying right now is a lie. What this president is saying right now is a lie, and I'm just going to cut into this coverage right now.
And clearly he doesn't know where the hell he is. Back to you, Clayton.
Right.
Back to you.
Oh, my God.
Go ahead.
Well, it'd mostly be like, I think what he just said was a lie, but I can't quite make up the words that he said before and after it. So taking the totality, I think there was a lie in there somewhere.
Yeah. All right. Well, here, I'll give you another. And again, was that a lie or a gaffe? He probably doesn't stinking know. He doesn't know, right? Trump, we should say, okay, you won the primaries here before, but you didn't win the general election. Maybe he was misspeaking, or maybe he was exaggerating, or maybe he was trying to lie to us. It's up to us, right? And maybe they could point it out later, but not like, I need to break in. I don't know. Then you have to do it for everybody. Like, here is Joe Biden back in December saying that his father was a victim of the October 7th attack in Tel Aviv. This makes zero sense, but watch.
But we know this year's Hanukkah is different. It's been 65 years since the deadliest day of the Jewish people since the Holocaust. 65 years. You know, after October 7th, my father returned to his kibbutz to salvage what he could from his home. What was left was the rubble and ruin. The home which he had hidden in with his
Okay,
wife,
I just need to break into that too, if you can just go live. Joe Biden, his father never lived in a kibbutz. His father was long since dead at the October 7th attack. And I don't believe he's Jewish. He's told us many times that he's Irish. So that is the consequence of broadcasting untrue things.
Or what about his speech?
You as a voter might be influenced by that lie.
And what about his speech 2 days ago where he said, Terry McAuliffe, you're the real governor of Virginia. I'd like to welcome my good friend Terry McAuliffe here in Virginia. He's the real governor. No. He lost. He lost the election. He's not the real governor. So, that's the very same thing those are the truths that Rachel Maddow was really up against, right? The election interference talk and all of this stuff. Well, here's Biden in a big speech saying that Terry McAuliffe is the real governor of Virginia, according to President Biden.
Right. Again, my point is you either got to do it neither or you got to do it both. This highlights how MSNBC also has started to take old man shots at Trump, which is a pot and a kettle. that are both black, not at Biden, who is no spring chicken. Now watch Rachel Maddow say that Trump is not offering the voters youth, and she laughs, and Jen Psaki gives her a sycophantic laugh. Watch.
I think that there's a very simple reason that Trump is making that the closing argument in what may be the last contested primary. And it's because that's really what he's offering. I mean, this is the special sauce. Donald Trump is not leading the Republican Party and leading the Republican field of candidates because of his youthful vigor or because of his policy preferences or because of his eloquence.
Yeah, yeah, that's so funny. He's so old. Have you seen Joe Biden? You got to take those same shots. You got to take them both, or don't take them at all. And here she is saying that Trump is doing Jedi mind tricks on voters because they don't know reality. She calls it reality bullying.
I mean, let's just be really clear about this, right? So Trump saying tonight, after having won the New Hampshire primary, which he has done twice before, having then gone on to say that's not enough. You can't just claim credit. You have to claim credit. You have to falsify the election results in the two times that you lost the state, is a form of like reality bullying in a way. And he's done this around Iowa as well. So, for example, he doesn't have bragging rights about winning the Iowa caucuses. He lost the Iowa caucuses in 2016 to Ted Cruz. But after winning the Iowa caucuses this time, he said, it's really great to have won it for three times in a row. And he knows that it's not true, and he knows that everybody listening to him knows that it's not true. It's like his insistence on the date of the Spanish flu epidemic, or his insistence on what the hurricane track was going to be that he had to draw in with a Sharpie. It's an exercise in bending reality to his will and insisting that others follow. It's an exercise in making people who love him denounce reality and endorse his view instead as a form of fealty, as a form of loyalty. And it's a way of breaking the truth in our country and showing that his most loyal people will do that in a performative and effacing way.
And I love Chris Hayes.
Isn't that exactly what she did by not showing Trump's speech? Like, she's like, I'm going to twist your reality, and we're not going to play this because of your fealty to us, and you hate Donald Trump, and we're going to make sure that you remember that we hate him too. It's like she's doing the exact same thing by not playing his speech that she's saying that he's doing.
Right, but she's also rallying up the people who hate him so much, and it's a commiseration. Like, you come here because you hate him. I hate him too. You're going to see me act superior, and you will feel fed in your hatred and validated, right? And then she's also saying that anyone who doesn't feel like you has divorced themselves from reality. Thankfully, you're in reality, but those Trump supporters, they're idiots. They don't live on planet Earth. They are willing to put the truth aside for fealty, she says. Here is where she says that Trump is promising the end of politics because he's poised to be a dictator.
What he's offering is what he both sort of inherently offers and now more and more explicitly offers, which is, if you pick me, that'll be the end of politics. And you won't have to deal with politics anymore. You won't have to deal with contested elections. You won't have to deal with contests or divisions when it comes to power. You'll have a strongman leader, and I'll just do what I want. And won't that be a lot simpler? That's what he's offering. That strongman model is what the Republican base is enthused about. And that is something that sets him apart from every other Republican candidate. And I think that we're naive to think that he's tricking people into picking him and then surprise, he's going to act like a dictator. What he's offering is strongman leadership, the end of politics, the end of elections, the end or the sidelining or domesticating, as Ruth Ben-Ghiat says, of the judiciary and the Congress. He'll be the man in charge, and he'll get it done. And that's what he's selling, and that's what they are very eager to buy.
On the same night that we now have Democrats calling on President Biden to nationalize the Texas National Guard because of the border dispute, take control of Texas and what is sovereign in the state of Texas as a dictator. And Democrats are openly calling for this over the past about an hour and a half now.
Yeah.
So Trump's the dictator. And when did Trump say he wanted to get rid of elections? Like, can you point to that, Rachel Maddow? Like, when was that moment?
No, it's the Democrats that have outlawed actually making any rules around elections. I refer you to the Ken Paxton interview with Tucker Carlson, where he talks about how he's fighting with hands tied behind his back because he's no longer allowed to investigate any election fraud. That's happened under Democrats' watch. And I watched her throughout the whole Trump presidency, and I remember having her on once when my dad was around, and my dad's like, she's a troublemaker. She's trying to stir things up. But I couldn't see it at the time. Now I see nothing but the fact that she refuses to look at how Biden has weaponized the Justice Department against his political opponent and shielding his family from justice, peddling influence abroad, leading the country into countless wars, leading American deaths. And that is not enough to be afraid of. We have to be afraid of what Trump might do when we did have peace during a Trump administration. And again, she was wrong about Trump and Russia. And I just feel so betrayed by that. And like, she doesn't have this moral high ground to walk on any longer. So once again, we're not promoting any one candidate. We're just showing how dishonest the media is. And the left is being a sore loser.
I want to point out, too, the story we talked about earlier with Carrie Lake and taking bribes. Jen Psaki. Jen, if you spin the president's information for this time, I know you hate it. You're not going to be able to sleep at night. But then when you're done, we're going to give you this grand position on this news network, and you're going to get all this money and everything. And she obviously said yes.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's exactly what she did. She knew she was going to take this job. She was setting herself up to have this media darling position at MSNBC, and they've elevated her to like one of the sort of senior voices now. And you always get to see who the network is like grooming during election nights. Who are they putting on the desk? Who are they having sat next to the main anchors? And who are they letting do all the talking and all of that? And you're seeing Jen Psaki, of course, being elevated tremendously now inside of MSNBC.
Right. And if I may, this is not a nice thing to say, but she's not a good broadcaster. She's
Jen
very
Psaki?
phony.
No.
Yeah. And just in terms of like most of those people sitting at that panel, they're liars, but they're good broadcasters. I'll give them that.
They're good at broadcasting lies.
Right.
Jen Psaki is lying.
Jen Psaki is lying, and I don't think she's a very good broadcaster. I'm sorry to throw stones. I don't mean to. Yeah, I did a little bit. That was a little, I had to. I don't know. It was just bubbling up in me. I won't be mean anymore. Now, I want to just say that there is an appetite now on the left of Democrats saying, let's stop being so religious about our identity politics and stop looking down our nose at Trump voters because there's something to see there. Jamie Dimon, of all people, said this at the World Economic Forum at Davos last week. Watch.
And I just also want to point out, I wish the Democrats would think a little more carefully when they talk about MAGA, and if you travel this country, and the country's unbelievable. We took our bus trip this year, and Leslie Picker was on Spokane and Boise and Bozeman. People are growing. They're hungry to grow. They're innovating. It's everywhere. It's not just Silicon Valley. So we've got this great hand. But when people say MAGA, they're actually looking at people voting for Trump, and they think they're voting, and they're basically scapegoating them, that you are like him. But I don't think they're voting for Trump because of his family values. And if you look, just take a step back, be honest. He was kind of right about NATO, kind of right about immigration. Mm-hmm. He grew the economy quite well.
China virus.
Tax reform worked. Mm-hmm. He was right about some of China. I don't like what he did.
No, I said China virus.
Yeah, I understand. He may have been right. And I don't like how he said things about Mexico. I don't like, but he wasn't wrong about some of these critical issues. And that's why they're voting for him. And I think people should be a little more respectful of our fellow citizens. And when you guys have people up here, you should always ask the why.
I was, what? You're saying that? You're saying he was right about NATO? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're a globalist, and you're saying that. So,
right.
Okay.
And immigration,
my reality,
and illegal immigration, and what's happening in the United States, and they're all sort of sitting there dumbfounded, like, yeah, okay.
I wonder when his PR apology tour starts. What I really meant to say in that the other day was
right.
Oh,
yeah. And it's worth noting that Democratic candidates, well, there is one who is also willing to talk like this. The Democrats just ignore him. I remind you that Representative Dean Phillips is also trying to run for president against Biden. He gets no airtime, but he said this, and CNN didn't cut his mic.
And I got to tell you guys, I went to a Donald Trump rally a couple nights ago. Never been to one. I had an event across the street. I saw the line of people waiting in the cold for hours. And I thought, what the heck? I'm going to be a leader who actually invites people, doesn't condemn them. Met probably 50 Trump people waiting in line. Every single one of them, thoughtful, hospitable, friendly. All of them so frustrated that they feel nobody's listening to them but Donald Trump. A diverse crowd, people who had never been to a Trump event before. My party is completely delusional right now. We have a crowd.
Yeah, he said that. So there are Democrats who are willing to look across the aisle and say, okay, what do you want? Why are you voting
More of
this
that.
way?
More of that in this nation, please.
Yeah.
What do you want? What are you so upset about? Most Americans want their family to be safe, right? Most Americans want their schools to be run well. Most Americans want to be able to provide for their family.
They want
when they
nice
work 40
things
hours
for
a
their
week.
taxes, like a nice police station, a nice fire station, a nice
Right.
community center, a nice high school.
I saw a photo the other day from the 1950s, I believe, and it showed husband and wife, 2 kids in a yard with a small house, and they had a car in the driveway, and it said, this family is able to live off of the father's salary as a worker at Ford, at the Ford Motor Company.
Yeah.
Kids laughing in the yard, car, house, and taken care of. Not in the United States. You can't do that anymore. That's what Americans want. They would love a return to that. And to hear that, you're a racist, you're a misogynist,
you bend reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
anyway.
Now it's 3 jobs in America, and that's a good thing.
Right. Yeah. Well, let us know what you think of this behavior out of your media. We'll be watching this as the primaries continue. We have South Carolina coming up in a couple of weeks, and it's going to be a fun season.
I really hoped you enjoyed watching this video. YouTube thinks that you'll actually like this next video right here. It's personalized based on your own viewing habits. So if you watch the video, please leave a comment. Let us know what you think about it, and we will see you next time, everyone.